Less than ape data end equals 297 data start equals 67 greater than. I want to take a moment to reflect on a deeply disturbing and emotional story that's been making headlines again. One that reignites old pain, sharpens raw fear, and forces us to question justice, rehabilitation, and public safety. Less than SIP data end equals 742 data start equals 299 greater than. After 23 years in prison, Hugo Bernier, the man who abducted, sexually assaulted, and murdered 27-year-old Julie Boisvenu in 2002, appeared once again before the parole board. He wasn't asking for full parole, but for 2 escorted outings. One to reconnect with his claimed indigenous roots, and another to attend a brief family memorial. But here's the chilling part. Despite the passage of time, Hugo Bernier remains a threat. A dangerous one. Less than P data end equals 999. Data start equals 744 greater than. The parole board didn't mince words. They refused his requests, even under strict conditions, because they couldn't accept the risk. Even with guards, even with handcuffs. And that tells you something about the kind of man they still see in front of them. Less than P data end equals 1520 data start equals 1001, greater than. Bernier still struggles with deviant sexual thoughts. A recent psychological evaluation showed he had a significant physical reaction to violent sexual scenarios, specifically those involving humiliation. That is deeply alarming. Despite his claims that he now understands consent and has changed, he also admitted to ongoing deviant thoughts. When asked to rate his likelihood of reoffending on a scale of 1 to 10, he said 2 to 3. Think about that. Even in his own mind, there's a possibility he could do it again. Less than P data end equals 1975, data start equals 1522, greater than. And it's not just clinical analysis raising red flags. Pierre-Hugues Boisvenu, Julie's father, was present at the hearing. A man who lost his daughter in the most brutal way imaginable, who has since become a tireless advocate for victims' rights. He looked his daughter's killer in the eye and said, less than M data end equals 1920, data start equals 1823 greater than. This man is dangerous. I fear there could be another innocent victim, another Julie Boisvenu. His words weren't just from grief. They were a warning. Less than P data end equals 2332 data start equals 1977. Greater than. Bernier's explanation of the crime hasn't evolved much. He described the murder as the result of losing control, chalking it up to impulses and a lack of confidence. But what's missing, what's always been missing, is true remorse. Not just acknowledgement of wrongdoing, but deep, unmistakable empathy for the life he destroyed and the people he shattered. Less than P data end equals 275, O data start equals 2334 greater than. Even now, he talks about Julie as someone who was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. No. She was living her life, celebrating, dreaming, until she crossed paths with a predator who should never have been free in the first place. It's chilling to think that before killing Julie, Bernier had already served time for a violent sexual assault. This was not a one-time explosion of violence. It was a pattern. Less than P data end equals 3035 data start equals 2752 greater than. The parole board did note some progress. He's taken part in therapy, resumed studies, and even works as a peer support inmate, which when someone still triggers concern over violent fantasies after 2 decades of prison, that progress isn't enough. Not for this crime. Not for this man. Less than app data end equals 3331, data start equals 3037, greater than. So yes, it was the right call to deny his requests, because public safety isn't a gamble. And because the pain of victims' families never really ends. Julie Boisvenu's story reminds us that justice isn't just about punishment. It's about ensuring that monsters don't get a second chance to hunt. Less than P data end equals 341, 3 data, is last node equals data is only node, equals data start, equals 3333 greater than. And for the sake of every woman walking home at night, I hope that remains true. Stay subscribed for more videos.